Good morning, all. I welcome you all on the behalf of StudyIQ IAS English. My name is Pritesh Mathurkar. I welcome everyone on board for the analysis of Hindu on the 12th of May 2023. I extend my warmest regards to everyone. I extend my heartfelt wishes to everyone, to those of you who are joining me for the first time today or those who are continuously in loop with me. So, today onwards, I'm shifting my focus area with you all. So today onwards, I'm starting a new trajectory for you all. So from today onwards, before every beginning of the session, I will be displaying a quote to you. Why these quotes are important? Because these quotes again will have a utilitarian value in your answers, in your ethics, in your essays, but also they will help to instill confidence, they will help to instill dedication, passion, and consistency in you all. So, from today onwards, before the beginning of any discussion, we will first be showcasing some beautiful quotes to you so that you get inspired and you can actually use these quotes in your answers. So, I'm shifting my trajectory with you all from today onwards. So, I hope that you will all appreciate this trajectory and that you and me will succeed. Good morning, Anu. So, basically, in these sessions, what we typically do, so in these sessions, we do the detailed analysis of the present day Hindu, those articles which I find are important from the prelims perspective, from the mains perspective, and wherein you can have direct utilitarian value. So if anything is coming important from directly mains orientation or prelims orientation, that will be our focus area. Good morning, Stuti. And the second thing that I will be doing with you all is that I will teach you how to write answers. I will teach you how to frame the structures of the answers using the article language itself. So, answer writing skills, vocabulary, and also a little bit of structuring. All of this we will learn from this session, that is the Hindu analysis zone. So, I welcome aboard everyone. Using these sessions, I intend to cover roughly 30 to 40 marks in your prelims and approximately 200 to 300 marks in your mains. And if this goes beyond, like if you have ethics paper which comes predominantly from the current affairs part, if you have GS paper 3 which comes predominantly from the current part, and you also if have essays, morning Aditi, then your coverage can go well beyond 500 marks too. Okay, so I'm starting a new endeavor with everyone today, that I will be first showcasing you some of the beautiful quotes each day which will help you inspire and which will move forward. Again, I'm reiterating, those of you who are joining me for the first time, the typical workflow is like this. So in any session, I discuss the detailed PDFs of the articles. All those PDFs are readily available to you on an open Telegram channel. You are free to join this channel. Unless and until you work upon those PDFs, unless and until you work upon the content, it's of no use. Okay. So dedicated aspirants, aspiring aspirants, and also those who are now just leaping forth, okay, I consider you and my in that category. Not you, I guess that you are all now in a very serious category, but I always consider myself to be in the lowest ladder. Why? Because that give me scope of improvement each day. So each day I am improving with you, and each day you will also improve with me. Good morning, Kalash. So let's begin our today's discussion with one of the most beautiful proverbs, or one of the most beautiful sentences that I find in inspiring me in basically helping me to move ahead with each day and with each second. So, the first proverb that I'm showcasing you, or the first words of mouth, or the words of wisdom that are showcasing you today, is by Gordon B. Hinckley. So, this person has written a very short but sweet line: without hard work, nothing grows but weeds. Without hard work, nothing grows but weeds. What do you mean by this? That unless and until you toil yourself, unless and until you start improvising yourself, you toil each day, you burn your midnight oil, growth in life can never be achieved. Rather, if you don't work hard, you will go in the opposite direction. You will start to weed out in life. Your growth will not get prosperous, but your growth will get hampered. Your growth will actually weed down. Weed down means to cut something. So hard work is very essential in life, guys, and I hope that each and every one of you work like anything. Okay, see, the word hope, it's a very ambiguous kind of term, because hope is like begging someone. Like if I'm hoping that you will do this, you will do that, so basically I'm actually begging you all to do this. So instead of hope, let's use the word faith, because faith is when I put my unconditional belief in you. So from today onwards, I won't be uttering the word hope in front of you all. I will be uttering the word faith, because it's just like that. I have respect for you guys. I have utmost reverence for you, and I also love you. Okay, love you in the sense, in a sportingly way, in the way that you are, and you and me are all on this journey wherein we have to get good all India rank. So in a way we love hard work, in a way we love to toil ourselves. So please remember this quote, that without hard work nothing grows but only weeds. So take this decision, take this firm stance, be dedicated that yes, we are going to work day in and day out. And guys, this day in and day out working is not that difficult. Once you start doing this, you start enjoying hard work, and there is nothing sort of sweet experience like that, that you start enjoying whatever you are working. So it's a very beautiful kind of feeling that when you start enjoying whatever you do, you feel that you have achieved everything in life, and that should be your ultimate aim in life. Okay, so before moving ahead, again I will like to welcome everyone aboard. So let's start with the discussion of today's articles. In each class I tend to paint a severity score of the articles. In each class I tend to paint how much the articles are important are, and how much of that can be translated actually in prelims and actually in mains. So today's severity score is between 4 to 6. Okay, I'm again reiterating, today's severity score is between 4 to 6, but not anything important from prelims perspective. Okay, today you basically only have 3 articles, but all of these 3 articles can be used to supplement your mains answers. So today nothing important from prelims perspective, everything is important from mains perspective. And those of you are watching me, Kalash, Aditi, I have Stuti, I have Anup. So today's articles are rather important from quality perspective. All of the articles today that we'll do, all not means majority, so 2 out of 3, they will be based on the interpretation of the present day polity status of India, present day governance in India, because yesterday Supreme Court spelled out two one of the biggest judgments in this year, and I think that none of the judgment will be even bigger than the judgment which Supreme Court gave yesterday with regards to the administration in Delhi and administration in Maharashtra. So the articles which we'll be doing today, they will be carrying the language of constitution. They will be carrying language of the document which each and every one of you will swear allegiance to once you become a civil servant. So it will be your humble duty to protect the constitution. So please bear with me, because the language will surely bound to get difficult. You will all feel that, sir, today we are really witnessing that language is not getting comfortable. You will really feel that, okay, today language is going tough. But guys, please don't worry. It's a matter of time only. Once you get exposed to this language, once you get acclimatized to this language, you will literally start enjoying the language. Hence I showcased you the proverb on hard work, because I don't want that after seeing this language you should give up current affairs. No, please don't do that. Please don't go into that negation territory that now let go everything, I won't do anything. Please don't let that happen. Okay, I have faith in you. I have utmost trust in you that you will follow the language, you will try to grasp the language. And guys, it's not a sad thing, it's not a bad thing, and neither it's a thing of shame that you are not comfortable with the language. So morning Soham, so for the first time I'm dwelling out one of my secrets to you all. First time I'm opening up my secret box to you. Let this be an open platform so everybody can hear it, but especially to those guys who are watching me live. Even I was extremely comfortable, I was extremely uncomfortable with the language of Hindu for roughly 6 to 8 months. When I started my preparation, I was extremely uncomfortable with the language of Hindu. I didn't even get a single word of what was there in the newspaper. So, did I give up? No, I didn't give up. I followed it consistently. So it took me a roughly sweet 8 to 9 months to basically get acclimatized with the paper. See, what do you mean by acclimatization? Acclimatization does not mean that I was not covering current affairs. Yes, I was covering current affairs, but the day you feel that you have got mastery, the day you feel when you can actually anticipate what can come in the paper, that day you can say that you have formally been acclimatized to the Hindu. So, for some people, that day might come in 1 week. For some people, that day might come in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Someone may take a year. But no worries. Even if you are taking a year, no worries. Your preparation cycle is approximately 1.5 to 2 years, so you don't need to worry about it. Just have faith in me, just have trust in me. The day you get the feeling, the day you start anticipating, the day you become formally acclimatized with the Hindu, no one can divide you of good all India rank. Okay, that's my promise to you, and that's my utmost kind of faith in you all. The day you become comfortable with Hindu, no one can divide you of good all India rank, and it's your own territory. No one else should tell you that you are not good. No one else should remind you, oh, you are not going on a right track. No, it's your journey, it's your absolute right, it's your own prerogative that you are moving the way with the speed in which you are comfortable. Yeah, you will have to shift gears sometimes. That's the need of the hour. But don't let anyone dictate you. Listen from everyone, but please do what makes you comfortable, what helps in you scoring good marks. So, today's articles, guys, today's articles are important from the governance point of view, from the constitutional point of view, rather, dare I say, from the constitutional morality point of view, because for the first time this year, Supreme Court has basically scolded everyone. So it is just like that when the most eldermost person in your family speaks something, and if that eldermost person is agitated, then everyone in the family is bound to bow their heads down and just plainly listen. So yesterday Supreme Court did the same thing. Supreme Court finally showcased that who is the boss in India. There is a thing called as rule of law, and in rule of law, Supreme Court will be the highest authority. So you will have to listen to the Supreme Court. You will have to listen to the uppermost house of judiciary in India. So that is the thing which Supreme Court did yesterday. So it's kind of a funny thing also, it's kind of a daunting thing also, and it's kind of a learning experience also. Why? Because what's funny, that the officers or the government structure in India is clearly written in the constitution. The governance structure is clearly written in the constitution, how things need to be governed. And even the senior most of the governmental officials, even the senior most of the legislative, of the executive, they don't adhere to that. So it's basically wherein judiciary comes into play, that no, things are not going good, this will result into gross injustice, you will have to do this. So it's funny in the sense that when the most senior most persons in India, they don't adhere to the constitutional norms, Supreme Court has to intervene and basically scold them. Okay, why it's daunting? Because the length of judgment which Supreme Court gave yesterday, okay, the judgment was itself more than 800, 900, dare I say 1000 pages judgment. So when a document is being written which is more than 1000 pages, a judgment which is more than 1000 pages, see how much daunting the task is for the Supreme Court justices to draft it. So again, a very daunting and kind of pragmatic, kind of a judgment which is protecting federalism in India, which is advocating for constitutional morality, that there is a thing called as Constitution of the Republic of India, on which the fabric of India's democracy rests. So you can consider basically constitution as the space-time fabric of the universe on which the entire universe is sitting. Universe basically democracy of India. So such kind of words will resonate in this, and Supreme Court has finally showcased who is the boss in India. Okay, so let's now begin. And mind you, there will be some political terms in this. There will be reference to some of the political parties in India. None of you are bound to get emotional. None of you are bound to get agitated. See, you and me, we are all going to become bureaucrats. Okay, we should have that bureaucratic attitude. You are neither of the masses, you are neither of the bureaucrats. You are neither supporting the aristocracy, you are neither supporting the masses. Supporting in the sense that you will have to act as a bridge between the masses and between the executive. So your job is going to manage both the sides, but your allegiance will be to whom you will showcase your utmost love, to whom you will shower your utmost love, to whom you will showcase your gratitude to. Only one document, that is the Constitution of the Republic of India. So anything which goes against the Constitution, that is where you should feel sad. No, this is not good, because you are going to be the future bureaucrats of India. So please deal with these articles in a sportingly manner. No one is bound to get emotional. We just have to understand where everything is lacking from governance point of view. Okay, so let's begin with the first discussion. Okay, it is again the explainer in today's text and context page. You don't need to summarize anything. You just need to plainly listen to me. You just need to understand the issue, because this issue you will somehow remember in your lifetime. You will not forget the language which is spoken over here. Yes, but the second article, the language is going to be daunting. So I will make sure that I will quote those things which you all need to remember. Okay, but the first article, you just have to plain simply listen. It will be repeated so many times in due course of your preparation. Mind you, why I'm saying you don't need to summarize, because you will not only hear from me, but you will hear from every faculty which you will get acquainted with. Such is the gravity of yesterday's judgment. So it will get so many times hammered on your brain, you will tend to remember that. Okay, so the first article that I am discussing with you is the ruling of Supreme Court on Sena versus Sena. So you all know what happened in Maharashtra last year, that basically some faction of a political party A basically left the party. They went to some other place and they said that no, we are the real political party, we are the real party, now we are forming with the government with some another party B. So basically there was a difference in which the procedures were adhered to, in which the procedures which the governor conducted the business, the procedures in which the whip of the house, in which the speaker of the house conducted the business. So this article, it with regards to the functioning, with regards to the adhering of norms by different people, like the speaker, like the whip, like the governor. I am toning down the language as much as possible. Okay, you don't have to worry with regards to the exact words which are written in this article. See, you and me, we both need to understand the issue from the ground level. So even if we are toning down the language, you shouldn't get bothered. It's no shame in this if we are toning down the language. Okay, so just bear with me. Okay, what did the court state? That the call of the Maharashtra governor to initiate a trust vote was not justified. Okay, so the governor of Maharashtra initiated a trust vote when a rebel fraction basically left one political party and they form a separate group. They said that no, now we are the real political party and we are now forming a coalition government with another party. So governor basically did what? Governor basically conducted a trust vote in the house, that okay, now show me that you have got numbers, show me that you can form the governor. So now Supreme Court gave judgment on that. Was it justified on the part of governor to conduct or initiate a trust vote? Can the court reinstate the minister who resigned the day before the trust vote? Can the courts rule on disqualification petitions? So you all know that under under the 10th schedule of the Constitution, there is a provision with regards to defamation. So the Speaker of the House can disqualify the members if they do defamation, if they leave their political party and join some other party when they are in the legislative party. So can Supreme Court basically rule? Can the courts rule on disqualification petitions? What has it said on the speaker's role? So basically in this explainer, we are going to discuss three things. What did the Supreme Court state on the call of Maharashtra governor to initiate a trust vote? So, is the governor right to initiate the trust vote under such circumstances? Number two, can court rule on disqualification petitions? Do the high courts, the district courts or the Supreme Courts have the authority to rule on disqualification petition? And number three, what it has said with regards to the role of Speaker of the Assembly. So let's discuss. Let's know the issue completely. Okay. In a unanimous judgment, the Supreme Court on Thursday held that the then Maharashtra governor called for a trust vote, which led to the resignation of the minister government last June, was illegal. Okay. So what did the Supreme Court say? That whatever the governor of Maharashtra did at that time was completely illegal. Okay, so if one simple question comes in prelims or in mains, that if such a situation arises again, where a fraction of ministers or a fraction of MLAs, they become rebel MLAs and they snatch the party's name, they form a coalition with the other governor, and in such circumstances the governor basically initiates a trust vote. So under such circumstances, can governor initiate a trust vote? Will it be valid? No, it will be illegal. So that is the verdict of the Supreme Court, and you will have to adhere to the verdict of the Supreme Court because it's the supreme most of court. It said that the actions was not justified in calling the chief minister to prove his majority on the floor of the house, but the court also said that it could not reinstate the person as chief minister because he had resigned instead of facing the trust vote. So basically what happened, that person basically he resigned the day before governor called the trust vote. So Supreme Court said that though the trust vote calling was illegal, though the governor asking the chief minister to prove his majority was illegal, but it could not reinstate that person as the chief minister again. Why? Because he had already resigned without facing the trust vote. So here lies the catch. Can the person again become the chief minister of Maharashtra? No. Why? Because he already resigned the day before the governor asked to showcase the majority. Okay. Yes, Manoj, it's defamation. Okay. Yeah, it's defection. My bad. It's uttering of mouth. It's defection. Okay. So what happened basically? Can Supreme Court decide a disqualification petition? Okay. The speaker is the authority to adjudicate the petitions for disqualification under the 10th schedule. So if you see the 10th schedule of the constitution, so the speaker is the supreme most authority to rule on whether a group of MLAs or whether certain MLAs are bound to get disqualified or not. So it is not the Supreme Court, it is not the courts or neither any of the agency which can rule upon this. The sole authority for disqualifying a rebel MLA lies with whom? Lies with the Speaker of the House. Okay, the Speaker of the House will have the final say, he will have the final adjudication in this case. But guys, you need to remember that this is subject to judicial review. Okay, the power of the speaker to rule in such manners where he can disqualify the rebel MLAs is always subjected to judicial review. So don't forget this. Who is having the ultimate power? The Speaker of the House. No courts have the power, but this power is subject to judicial review, and judicial review where? In the highest court of India, the Supreme Court. Okay. The petitioners wanted the court to give its decision on the issue of disqualification of that person and his supporters. However, the court said that it cannot ordinarily adjudicate petitions for disqualification under the 10th schedule. There are no extraordinary circumstances in the instant case that warrant the exercise of jurisdiction by this court to adjudicate the disqualification petition. So what happened when a person A, basically he did what? He contacted some rebels. These rebels, they become rebel, they become the rebel MLAs. They went somewhere and they form a government with some another political party. So there was a disqualification petition filed against them that no, you cannot do this. You just cannot leave a party. You just cannot take the name of the party and say that now we are the real party, form a government with us. So there was a petition against them to make them disqualified or to disqualify them from the house itself. So this petition was filed by the leftover MLAs of that political party. So court said that under such circumstances, who is the supreme most power to do this? It is the speaker. But court also observed that it cannot use its extraordinary power under Article 142 of the Constitution of India, wherein the court can rule on anything and that ruling is binding on all the states and union territories of India. So the case which has been brought forward on the bench of Supreme Court, where it was said that you please disqualify these rebel MLAs, that there was a petition that you should disqualify such rebel MLAs which are basically tearing down from one party, they are forming a coalition government with the other party, and they are asserting that they are the real political party. No, you shouldn't do this. But Supreme Court also observed that the present circumstances don't warrant the Supreme Court to use its extraordinary power under Article 142 of the Constitution. So again, who has the supreme most power? The Speaker of the Legislative Assembly. Okay, so I'm again reiterating. However, the court said it cannot ordinarily abjugate the petitions for disqualification under the 10th schedule. There are no extraordinary circumstances in the instant case that warrant the exercise of jurisdiction by this court means Supreme Court, to adjudicate disqualification petitions. So no need to exercise Article 142 of the Constitution. The court said an MLA has the right to participate in the proceedings of the House regardless of the pendency of any petitions for their disqualification. So even if a MLA is facing disqualification petition in the any of the court, let it be the High Court or Supreme Court, even then that MLA can participate in the House proceedings. So this is with regards to the present Chief Minister of Maharashtra. I'm deliberately not taking the name. You all know who is the present Chief Minister of Maharashtra. So the present Chief Minister of Maharashtra is facing what? Is facing a disqualification petition in the Supreme Court. Why is he facing this disqualification petition? Because he became a part of the faction. He became a part of the rebel MLAs, which basically deflected, which basically torn out of the political party. They formed their own group. They said that now we are the real party. They form a government with some another party which is now existing in Maharashtra. So can his membership of the Legislative Assembly be disqualified? No. The Supreme Court said that MLA has the right to participate in the proceedings of the House regardless of the pendency of any petitions for their disqualification. The validity of the proceedings of the House in the interim between the period between a regime change is not subject to the outcome of disqualification petition. So the validity of the proceedings of the House in the interim period is not subject to the outcome of the disqualification petition. So any proceedings that happen in the House during the regime change, like during the 5-year period, they are not subject to the outcome of the disqualification petition. So let's say if I am the member or if I am the MLA in the Legislative Assembly, if I am facing a disqualification petition in the Supreme Court, then also I can participate in the House proceedings. So up till now, Supreme Court has given two very important judgments with regards to this issue, that under such circumstances, the governor cannot call for a trust vote. It is illegal. Number two, even if you have disqualification petition pending for you in the courts, you can still go and conduct the proceedings of the House. And number three, who is the supreme most authority to initiate disqualification petition or to initiate the determination of the membership of the Legislative Assembly? The Speaker. Supreme Court does not have that authority, and where it is mentioned in the 10th schedule of the Constitution. Only the Speaker has the absolute authority. But guys, this absolute authority is subject to judicial review. Okay. Next, was the floor test justified? So this is the fourth issue now which we'll be discussing. So the governor did call for a floor test. The governor did call to showcase your numbers. The governor did call to showcase your majority. The court noted that the governor was not justified in calling up Mr. Dash to prove his majority on the floor of the House, because he did not have reasons based on objective material before him to reach to the conclusion that Mr. had lost the confidence of the House. So if I am the governor, okay, when I can initiate the trust vote, when I can call the chief minister of that state where I am the governor to showcase his number, where there is something objective in front of me, where there is some objective material in front of me that yes, now this person has lost the confidence of the House, that this government or this Council of Ministers has basically lost the confidence of the House, and now I can initiate trust vote against them. So basically the circumstances which were happening on that day, that did not warrant, that did not justify the governor's action. Governor should have waited, governor should have watched, Governor should have contacted the Council of Ministers, because governor is bound to act on the aid and advice of the Council of the Ministers. But governor did not do so. He initiated the trust vote. Hence, the court observed that governor was not justified in calling upon Mr. Dash to prove his majority on the floor of the house, because he did not have reasons based on objective material. There must be some premise to do what? To initiate the trust vote before him to reach the conclusion that Mr. Dash had lost the confidence of the house. So again, the governor's role over here was not justified, and whatever he did is not constitutionally valid. So guys, in the future you will again see a judgment, or you will again see a diktat by the Supreme Court with regards to this matter. Why? Because the office of the governor is a very august office. Okay, it's a very supreme office. Governor has to function independently, okay, but he has to take the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. So in future you will definitely see some rulings, some diktats by the Supreme Court with regards to the functioning of the governor. Okay, was the court's ruling on the role of political party in relation to the legislature party? Okay, now guys, you need to understand the difference between the political party and the legislature party. So what do you mean by legislative party? The legislative party means that MLAs who are basically members of the house. So if a MLA is a member of the house, and if he is representing a party, let's say A, so he becomes the part of the legislative party. But what do you mean by political party? Political party means that party through which that person has been elected in the house, or the political party is that party in which that person is being represented. So let's say I am a member of a political party, and using the funds, or using the kind of election campaigns, or using the outreach of that political party, I have now been elected as the MLA. So I now become a member of the legislative party of that house, of that legislative assembly, and my political party is that party which has basically elected me, which has basically helped me in electing, or which has helped me in winning the election. So here comes the catch in the judgment, that whose whip is the most important, whether the whip of the legislative party is important or whip of the political party is important. So Supreme Court gave a very distinguished judgment. It cleared out the differences, and it gave a clarity based judgment that whose whip is to be adhered to. Okay, questions arose when whose whip is binding. If the whip appointed by the political party and the one acting on the behalf of the legislative party give different instructions to the members. So if you are having one whip of the political party means that party using which you have been elected, or the one acting on the behalf of the legislative party. Legislative party means that party which is now functioning as the lead government in the house. The court disagreed. To hold that it is the legislative party which appoints the whip would be to serve the figurative umbilical cord which connects a member of the house to the political party. Please understand this. What is Supreme Court saying? Supreme Court is saying that whose whip needs to be adhered to? The whip of the political party and not the legislative party. What do you mean by this? So let's say I'm representing a political party P. Okay, that political party P is basically doing my advertisement, it is running my campaign, it is funding me, it is helping me in securing votes. And once I get elected on the behalf of that party, and now if I am a MLA in the house, and if now I am the member of the legislative party, and if I am forfeiting the whip of that party, I am not at all listening to that party. So what I am cutting the umbilical cord through which I got basically elected into the house. Basically I'm doing what? I'm cutting down my relation with the public. Because why? Because that political party campaigned for me. That political party helped me win votes. How? Because they got the confidence of the voter. So in a way you are doing what? In a way you are acting against the confidence of the voters. You are basically saying that okay, I will be taking your advantage, I will be taking your undue advantage, please elect me. Once I have taken the undue advantage, you go your way, I go my way. This is not done, guys. Okay, this is not how confidence gets instilled. This is now how trust is won. Okay, it's just like this, that every day I'm coming sharp at 9 a.m. and I'm saying that I don't bother whether you are getting anything or not. I am doing my job. No, there is some connection between you and me. There is this umbilical cord which connects you and me, that yes, you have my trust, I have your confidence, and we are moving both ahead. It's not that I'm your faculty, so once I've become your faculty, I won't question you whether you are getting anything or not. No, I am faculty because of whom? Because of you, because you are listening to me. If you are not listening to me, how come I stand here and deliver you the lecture? So the same thing is what Supreme Court said. And guys, you need to remember this line. This is the first time I'm saying that you need to remember a Supreme Court diktat, but you need to remember this line. Okay, to hold that it is the legislative party which appoints the whip would be to serve the figurative umbilical cord, to serve the figurative umbilical cord which connects a member of the house to the political party, to serve the figurative umbilical cord. So umbilical cord is not real, it's figurative, which connects the member of the house to the political party. It would mean it would mean that legislators could rely on the political party for the purpose of setting them up for election, that their campaign would be based on the strengths of the political party and its promises and policies, that they could appeal to the voters on the basis of their affiliation with the party, but that they can later disconnect themselves entirely from that they were the party and be able to function as a group of MLAs which no longer owes even a hint of allegiance to the political party. So basically, a political party is campaigning for me. It has helped me win the elections. And then if I'm saying that I no longer adhere to your whip, I'm only adhering to the whip of the legislative party, the party which is in power in the house. It is not done. I will have to bear my allegiance to the mother party through which I have been elected. So basically, Supreme Court is saying that the legislative party is the child of the political party which has helped won the election. I'm again reiterating, guys, what Supreme Court is saying, that there is a mother-child relationship. So who is the mother over here? Mother is the political party. Who is the child over here? The legislative party. So this umbilical cord cannot be served. You have to make sure that you swore your allegiance, you bear your allegiance to the political party or to your mother. Anup, this can be asked predominantly in mains. Okay. Comment on with regards to the recent judicial dictats by the Supreme Court, or comment on the powers of the governor, comment on the recent developments with regards to the anti-deflection measures. So it can be asked in mains and it can be also asked in one liner in prelims, that can governor initiate a trust vote under these circumstances? Your answer should be no. So both of this, but you need to be extremely clear in your understanding of the issue. So this is what the court has ruled. Between the whip and the leader of the party in the house should be appointed only by the political party. Both the whip and the leader of the party in the house should be appointed by the political party only. Accordingly, it said that the speaker's action approving as the appointment of the leader of the house was contrary to the law. The speaker shall recognize the whip and the leader who are duly authorized by the political party. So the speaker should recognize the whip and the leader of the opposition by whom? By the political party and not the legislature party. Okay. So guys, I'm summarizing this article for you all, but I'm summarizing using points. So please take down the points, or please listen to the points very properly, because I think that this is a technical article, so we need to understand it even more holistically. Okay, so I'm just quickly summarizing the article for you all so that you all get it. Okay, so this is the Supreme Court diktat. Okay, this is the Supreme Court diktat. Okay, with regards to what? With regards to the functioning, with regards to the functioning of what? Okay, functioning of governor, functioning of governor. Okay, with regards to the functioning of the speaker, Okay, with regards to the functioning of the speaker and predominantly whose whip whose whip needs to be adhered to, whose whip is supreme, whose whip is supreme. Okay, so the first thing we'll be discussing now, can governor initiate a trust vote? Can governor initiate a trust vote? Yes, he can initiate a trust vote. He can initiate, yes, he can do it only when only when there is some objective material in front of him. There is some objective material in front of him that that warrants a person or the chief minister or the council of ministers has lost the confidence of the house. Only then the governor can initiate the trust vote. So what governor did in Maharashtra last year was completely illegal. It does not adhere to constitutional validity. It's constitutionally invalid. Okay. Who is the supreme most authority for deciding the disqualification of the MLAs? Speaker of the House. Okay, so the Speaker of the House is the most supreme authority for deciding the disqualification. Okay, disqualification provisions are mentioned under the 10th schedule of the Constitution of India, the defection laws, anti-defection laws. The Supreme Speaker is the supreme most authority, but this power is subject to judicial review. This power is subject to judicial review. You need to remember this. Okay. It's not that speaker can do whatever he wants. If the speaker crosses its limits, if the speaker goes out of its bounds, so you can initiate a petition in the court, in the Supreme Court, to check the power of the speaker. So governor, speaker. Next thing. Okay. Whose whip needs to be adhered to? Okay, what needs to be the actualus modulus operandi? So you will have two whips. Okay, you will have two whips. The first whip is that of the political party, and the second whip will be that of the legislature party. That will be the whip of the legislature party. Okay. According to Supreme Court, there exists a figurative umbilical cord. There exists a figurative umbilical cord. There exists a figurative umbilical cord between these two. Why? Because it is only when the political party is exerting in terms of campaigning, in terms of advertising, in terms of gaining the trust, in gaining the confidence of the people, that a person is elected from this political party and he becomes a part of the legislative party. So whose whip needs to be adhered to? The whip of the political party, not the whip of the legislative party. Okay, so please get this very straight. The whip of the political party needs to be adhered to. And most importantly, who has the power to again appoint the whip and the leader of the political party? The speaker. The speaker is the sole authority to appoint the whip and to appoint the leader of the political party. So speaker is the supreme most person or the supreme most authority in doing so. So this is what we learn from this article, guys. The last line is very important. Accordingly, it said that the speaker's action approving Mr. Sindhe's leader in the house was contrary to the law. The speaker shall recognize the whip and the leader who are duly authorized by the political party. So the speaker shall recognize the whip and the leader who are appointed by the political party and not by the legislative party. Okay, so the speaker has to adhere to the political party, not to the legislative party. And with regards to disqualification, again, who is the supreme most authority? The speaker. Okay, so this was one of the most technical articles with regards to the dictats of Supreme Court. I hope this article is now comfortable with each and everyone. You are free to ask me any doubts. If not, let's move ahead. Okay. Now, the second article today is again one of the biggest or the lengthiest judgments of the Supreme Court up till now. Okay, up till now in the sense that in recent times. Okay, this is with regards to the tussle between the government and the lieutenant governor. Okay. So now let's discuss this article, the jurisdiction conflict in the running of Delhi. Okay. So before I move ahead with this article, you all need to understand that there was a constitutional amendment. There was the National Capital Territory Act of 1991, which established the New Delhi or the NCT as the capital territory of India. And in that, you had formation of the Council of Ministers, you had formation of the Legislative Assembly. The membership was fixed at 70 members, and Delhi being a union territory, it also has the lieutenant governor in the role of a governor. So instead of governor, governor is the figurative head of the states. So the figurative head of the Delhi or of the NCT is the lieutenant governor. So this article or this judgment is with regards to two things. Number first, can lieutenant governor interfere in the matters of administration of the government of Delhi? I'm again reiterating, can the lieutenant governor interfere in the administrative matters of the functioning of the government of Delhi? Why? Because lieutenant governor is the representative of what? He is the representative of the President of India. So he is the nominee of the President of India. Can he interfere over here? And is it necessary that the governor should always take aid and advice of the Council of Ministers? And once he has taken the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, can he or she go against that aid and advice? Can he deliberately sabotage that? Can he act on his own? Can she act on his own? That is what this judgment is with regards to. So the first thing is this. Second thing, this judgment clearly spells out what do you mean by constitutional morality. This judgment clearly spells out the spirit of cooperative federalism, clearly spells out the spirit of competitive federalism. This judgment clearly spells out the balance between the different factions of the government, the factions between the balance between the different organs of the Constitution of India. So, constitutional balance, cooperative federalism, collaborative federalism, constitutional morality. So these four terminologies are very important in this article, and these terminologies can be directly asked in your mains. What do you mean by constitutional morality? What do you mean by cooperative federalism? What do you mean by collaborative federalism? Okay, what do you mean by constitutional balance? Okay, how does it affect the separation of powers? Because in India you do have separation of powers, but the separation of powers is not watertight, unlike in the USA. Here you have overlapping, but in USA you have watertight separation of powers. So if you are advocating for constitutional balance, if you are advocating for constitutional morality, so how can the separation of powers be maintained? So this article is with regards to this. So please understand this article from this perspective, and here please get the terms which Supreme Court has basically dictated. Okay. When the court declares that the law and requires the constitutional authorities to follow it, they have to act in compliance and not in defiance. So when a Supreme Court declares the law and requires constitutional authorities to follow it, why? Because the words of the Supreme Court are the supremost words. You cannot go against those words. Authorities have to follow it. They have to act in compliance and not in defiance. So let's begin. Okay. On May 11th, yesterday, Supreme Court held that the National Capital Territory of Delhi has legislative and executive power. The National Capital Territory of Delhi means the government of Delhi has which powers? Has legislative power and executive power. It is having both legislative power as well as executive power over administrative services in the national capital, excluding the matters relating to public order, police and land. These matters are handled by the union government, Delhi being a union territory. So except public order, except police and except land, the government of Delhi has legislative and executive power over all the rest of the administrative services in Delhi. This Supreme Court has spelled out clearly. So you don't have to worry that whether this is falling under the purview of the union government or whether this is falling under the purview of the state government. Supreme Court has spelled out clearly. Except public order, police and land, rest of the administrative functions, rest of the administrative services will have legislative authority as well as executive authority borne by the government of Delhi. Okay. The exercise of establishing a democratic and representative form of government of NCT by Delhi by inserting articles 239AA and 239BB, you have to remember these articles, would turn futile if the government of Delhi that enjoys the confidence of the people of Delhi is not able to usher in policies and laws over which the Delhi Legislative Assembly has power to legislate for the NCT of Delhi. So, by inserting articles 239AA and 239AB, legislative powers and executive powers have been assigned to the government of Delhi. And if the government of Delhi is not able to exercise those powers, so what about the confidence of the voters? What about the trust of the voters, wherein they have basically elected these members to the House of Delhi? Okay. The issue before the Supreme Court was the jurisdictional conflicts between the government of NCT and the union government and its representative, the Lieutenant Governor. So this is basically the tussle between the government of Delhi, the government of the NCT, and the representative of the union government, who is the Lieutenant Governor. Okay. Issues and possible solutions. The judgment, which runs into more than 1000 pages. Please see how big this judgment is. This judgment is more than 1000 pages. Analyzes the contentious issue which hobbled the state government and attempts to resolve them. Very lofty principles concerning constitutional morality, cooperative federalism, constitutional conscience, pragmatic federalism, etc. have been enunciated in this judgment. So, Supreme Court itself is talking about constitutional morality, cooperative federalism, constitutional conscience. Constitutional conscience means what? That if something is clearly mentioned in the constitution, so you have to follow it. If you are acting against it, or if you are not acting in the best interest of the constitution, so is your mind in the right place? No. You are acting against the conscience of the constitution. You have got your own brain. The constitution is clearly spelling out to do this, and you are not doing that. So are you acting in the favor of constitutional conscience? No. Pragmatic federalism. Pragmatic federalism means what? That in Delhi you do have union government say in the matters of land, in the matters of public order and police. Rest all is all borne by the state government. So what do you mean by pragmatic federalism? Pragmatic federalism means that there is a clear distinction between the powers. There is a clear distinction between the authority of executive and legislative powers. And if you are acting against it, are you acting pragmatically? No. So there also needs to be pragmatic federalism in addition to cooperative federalism, in addition to collaborative federalism. Okay. It reminds the Lieutenant Governor what his real functions are. Okay. The Supreme Court is saying, oh Lieutenant Governor, see where you are standing, what your real functions are. It tells the state government that it should remember that Delhi is a special category union territory and lays down the parameters to enabling the harmonious functioning of the government and the Lieutenant Governor. So it's not that the Supreme Court is only scolding the Lieutenant Governor. Supreme Court is also making the government of NCT understand that Delhi is a special category union territory. Why? Because public order, land and policing is in the hands of the union government. Okay. Nevertheless, the Supreme Court has settled the law in regard to the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers by affirming that Lieutenant Governor is bound to act on the aid and advice except in the respect of public order, law order and land, police. So, if I am the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, guys, those of you are watching me, Anup, I have got Manoj, Jagriti, Sonam, Aditi, Suti. I wish that you comment whether you are getting what I'm trying to say. Okay. So if I am the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, so it's my humble duty to take the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers in every matter. I cannot act against them. Okay, if I am feeling that no, it is not going properly, I need a even bigger advice, so I will withhold the issue to get the president's advice too. I will withhold it for the action by the president. But in those matters concerning land, public order and police, I did not act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. So this is a clear distinction in my powers. This is a clear distinction into way I should operate in Delhi. Okay, so let's move ahead. Court has settled a law in regard to the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers by affirming that Lieutenant Governor is bound to act on the aid and advice except in the respect of land, public order and police. The court has also made it clear that there is no requirement of concurrence of the Lieutenant Governor and that he has no power to overrule the decisions of the state governor. Please get this very properly. The court has also made it clear that there is no requirement on the concurrence of the Lieutenant Governor. Concurrence means what? That if the Lieutenant Governor is not satisfied, if the Lieutenant Governor is feeling that no, this cannot be done, or this is against my wish, or this is not good, and if he is withholding the issue, so the government did not wait for his concurrence, and that he has no power to overrule the decisions of the state government. So if the government of NCT is taking any decision, and if there is no concurrence on the behalf of the Lieutenant Governor, state government need not wait for it. State government can act on its own will, can act on its own whim. But mind you, state government cannot act in any issues with regards to public order, land and police. That is where the concurrence of the Lieutenant Governor is necessary, and that is where Lieutenant Governor can also go against the aid and advice of the government of Delhi. Okay. In the meantime, Lieutenant Governor thinks that the matter is urgent, he can take immediate action on its own. So ultimately, things are back to square one. If Lieutenant Governor, for example, wants to frustrate the efforts of the government, he can declare that there is a difference of opinion on any issue decided by the elected government and refer it to the president, which reality means the union ministry. So there is also a catch in this. Catch in the sense of what? That he has the power to withhold any issue for the aid and advice of the president. So he can withhold the issue to be discussed with the union government. So Supreme Court has clearly said that yes, you can do this. You can withhold the issue, but you have to act in a reasonable manner. You cannot withhold the issue forever. There is this catch that yes, if I am the Lieutenant Governor, I can withhold the issue for the discussion with the union government, I being the nominee of the President of India, but I should act in a constitutional conscience manner. I should take note that there is a thing called as constitutional conscience. If I am deliberately doing that, that is not adhering to constitutional monarchy and I'm losing my constitutional conscience. So Supreme Court has clearly said this, that governor shouldn't deliberately do this. Let's see that also. Okay. Okay. The power of the Lieutenant Governor under the said provision represents the exceptional and not the general rule which has to be exercised in exceptional circumstances by the Lieutenant Governor, keeping in mind the standards of the constitutional trust and morality, the principles of collaborative federalism and the concept of constitutional balance. So if the Lieutenant Governor is withholding any issue for the assent of the President of India, he should do this keeping in mind what? Keeping in mind the standards of the constitutional trust, the morality, the principles of collaborative federalism and the concept of constitutional balance. So he shouldn't act on his own whim. He shouldn't act against the constitutional trust. Supreme Court even says further that the Lieutenant Governor should not act in a mechanical manner without due application of mind so as to refer every decision of the Council of Ministers to the President. See, should not act in a mechanical manner. So mechanical manner means what? He should not lose his mind. So Supreme Court is basically uttering very good words. They are saying this in a very polite manner, but basically they are saying what? That Lieutenant Governor should not lose his mind. He should not lose his mind with regards to understanding what his position is, what his role as a Lieutenant Governor is. Guys, these are the words which you need to remember. Please remember this line. The quote further says that it is the Lieutenant Governor should not act in mechanical manner without due application of mind so as to refer every decision of the Council of Ministers to the President. So you need to understand this issue very, very carefully. And the last thing, that is that the executive power of the Union does not extend to any of the matters which come within the jurisdiction of the Delhi Assembly. Parliament can legislate for Delhi on any matter in the state list and the concurrent list, but the executive power in relation to Delhi, except the police, land and public orders, vests only in the state government headed by the Chief Minister. So except land, police and power, everything has to be borne by the state government of the NCT. The Supreme Court has basically clearly spelled out as to how the Lieutenant Governor should function. He should take note of the constitutional conscience and he shouldn't go against it. So for the first time now, Supreme Court has clearly stated the difference between the executive and legislative powers over the administrative services of the government of NCT and that of the powers of the Lieutenant Governor. So if I'm quickly summarizing the issue for you all, okay. So Supreme Court has said what? Supreme Court has ruled what? Two things. Supreme Court has ruled that Lieutenant Governor should not sabotage deliberately. Should not sabotage deliberately. Should not sabotage deliberately. With regards to what? With regards to withholding the issue. With regards to withholding any issue indefinitely for the president's assent. He does not have that power. Okay. He should act considering or keeping in mind. He should act considering or keeping in mind the constitutional trust, the constitutional morality, the constitutional trust, collaborative and cooperative federalism, and also understand the concept of pragmatic federalism. He should also understand the concept of pragmatic federalism. So the governor should not act with his whim. He should not act in which manner? He should not act in a mechanical manner. So this is the crux of the article. He should not act in a mechanical manner. You need to get this word from the article very, very properly. If you have a question on Lieutenant Governor, its functioning, how the Lieutenant Governor should function, so you should directly quote the words of Supreme Court that governor should not act in a mechanical manner. Next point. What powers do the governor, Lieutenant Governor and the government or the NCT government have? So NCT will have what? The government of NCT will have every power with regards to the legislation, with regards to the execution of administrative services, legislation and execution of the administrative services of Delhi, administrative services of Delhi. Okay, except what? Except land, public order and police. Whereas the union government will have powers with regards to what? With regards to legislative and executive powers with regards to land, public order and police. So this is a clear distinction between the separation of powers, where the union government will have a say, where the state government or the government of the NCT will have a say. But mind you, the union government can still legislate on any matter, Okay, the Parliament of India can legislate on any matter, and that legislation is bound to be borne by the state government, because the Parliament is the Mecca, or the Parliament is the house, the lower house of the functioning of the democracy. If any law is being formulated in the Parliament, then the states have to adhere to that law. They can actually approach the courts for them not adhering, but Parliament can legislate on everything, and the state government have to follow. But union government will have its own say on land, public order and police. The state government can challenge any law that they are not particularly adhering to law. It is regards to their purview. It is with regards to their right, their absolute right, that they can go against the whim of the Parliament and they can drag it to the court that this law we are not adhering to. But the supreme order or the supreme power with regards to land, public order and police will vest with the union government and not with the government of NCT. So this was the another article, very technical article today, and this is where the Supreme Court spelled out its judgment in more than 1,000 pages. Very daunting kind of judgment, but yes, it was necessary to scold the different functions of the government, because what you are witnessing in Delhi was absolutely disgraceful, absolutely shameful. This is not done, that in the world's biggest democracy you are having a fight between the factions of the government. This should not happen in the future. Hence, Supreme Court spelled out in the harshest of manners that Lieutenant Governor should not act in a mechanical manner. He should not lose his mind. His mind should be intact. He should act keeping in mind constitutional trust, keeping in mind constitutional morality, keeping in mind the spirit of cooperative and collaborative federalism. Okay, the next or the last article of today is again a headline article. Okay, headline article is basically with regards to this, that the Indian Council of Medical Research under the Health Ministry and the Ministry of Ayush have signed a memorandum of agreement to enhance collaboration and cooperation in health research field in the field of integrated medicine. Integrated medicine means what? That now the different pathies in India will get integrated. So if you have a certain disease, and if that certain disease is not being treated by allopathy, so you can have an integrated approach wherein you can integrate two different pathies to treat particular disease. So this is now a headline news, but you can use this as an example of advancements in the field of medicine in India, wherein now you will have a kind of integrated approach. We will strive for integrated medicines for treating those diseases or treating any new infections. Like during COVID times, you did have a medicine called as arsenic album given by the homeopathic physicians, which actually lowered the mortality, which actually helped patients cure when the allopathy was failing. Okay, so you do have some kind of integrated approach now, and now a memorandum of understanding has been signed between ICMR and Ayush Ministry. Okay, Ayush Ministry is a recent ministry which basically advocates those pathies or those practices which are rather traditional to India. Okay, and a practice called as homeopathy, which has basically come from Germany. So those pathies which are not the mainstream pathies means not practiced on a global scale, but they are more been relevant in India. So now we will have an integrated medicinal based approach. So guys, I summarize my understanding over here today. I hope that you have got the issue from the brim and that you have understood the words that I have spoken. Any word that I have spoken, any word that I have uttered, it's not worth if you are not revising it, if you are not revising the content again, if you're not seeing this article content. And for the revision, you can reach out to me on a Telegram channel called as HAZ, Hindu Analysis Zone, and the name of the channel being the Hindu Analysis Zone. And for joining the channel, you can do a global search on Telegram at the Hindu Analysis Zone. So any content that I'm showcasing you on the board will be freely available to you on this channel. And I hope that you have gotten the concepts which I have said to you all, and you have got the issue from the brim. I know today's articles were a little bit daunting, little bit difficult, but keep faith in me. I'm keeping faith in you. You and me will move ahead very gracefully. Okay. So all the best, everyone. Here I sign off for today. Any difficulties if you are having, I'm free. I'm keeping the session live for 2 to 3 minutes. Any difficulty you wish to ask, you can ask me. I'm ready, happy to answer. Otherwise, we'll call off this session. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. We will meet tomorrow sharp at 9 a.m. for discussing the current affairs of 13th of May. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Please keep on